Forget the Maximals and Terracons, we've got a brand spanking new Megatron design for Transformers Rise the Beast. But with Scourge and his Terracons taking the spotlight as the movie's main villains, what role will the Decepticon tyrant play? Will he work with the Terracons, or will he even appear in the movie at all? It's been 6 years since we last saw him on the big screen back in Transformers The Last Night, and believe it or not, we just missed out on him wreaking absolute havoc in the Cybertron scenes and being frozen at Sector 7 in the Bumblebee movie. But now we may finally be seeing his return. Courtesy of TFW 2005, we've got pictures of a Transformers Rise the Beast Megatron toy, and whilst the toy itself doesn't look like anything new, the design you can see here on the box art is completely fresh, definitely taken after the designs from Bumblebee, with it being an aesthetic mix of his earlier Bay movie and Generation 1 self, while still being menacing with those sunken crimson red eyes. Side note, it's weird that the toy looks nothing like the design, but it may have just been repackaged from another toy line. Yet, there's still two gigantic elephants in the room for Megatron's return, that being the new main villains, the Terracons. As we've seen from the leaks, trailers and the hood of their leader, Scourge's truck, the Terracons don't seem to like any of the other Transformer factions, Autobot and Decepticon alike, so it doesn't seem likely that we'll be seeing a team up between Megatron and Scourge anytime soon. However, that doesn't mean that there isn't a connection between the two and their groups. Before all the trailers and TV spots were released, we gotten a few close-up images of the new Transformers. If you look closely at some of the Terracons, namely Battletrap and Transit, you'll see that both of them don't have the Terracon insignia, but the Decepticon symbol right on their foreheads. And while this has been recently changed to show the Terracon insignia, it could still mean the two and possibly a bunch of other Decepticons likely defected to Scourge's ranks either during or before Rise the Beast. After all, Unicron's minions in the 1986 movie were also Decepticons who were upgraded and remodeled. So if Megatron were to appear in the movie, could we see this power struggle and rivalry unfold, where the Decepticon is beginning to lose control of his forces? Keep in mind, however, that Transformers Rise the Beast is already fitting the Autobots, Maximals and Terracons all into the same movie, meaning that there could be little time left over to focus on Megatron. While in the past we have seen countless times where Megatron/Galvatron has shared the screen with another main villain, where there's times it's worked excellently and others not so much, back then, the only two factions the story was about were almost solely just the Autobots and Decepticons, not 4 factions. What we could possibly and most likely end up seeing is him cameoing in the movie, either for the backstory behind the ex-Decepticons in the Terracons ranks, or at the end to set up the plot for the rest of the Rise of the Beast trilogy. Now, to unfreeze that second elephant, which is that the movie would also need to unfreeze Megatron. For context, the film takes place before Transformers 2007 in the 1990s. Although it's still up in the air on whether Bumblebee was a straight up reboot or not, the changes made to the designs of Optimus and the bots leans more towards the latter. It'll be interesting to see how the movie gets around this, or whether time travel will be involved. One way or another, we'll eventually end up seeing Megatron, and when we do, you can hear all about it by subscribing for the latest Transformers Rise of the Beast news.